My chronically dehydrated self is proud of you for drinking water. I am a water person. I predominantly drink water. Good thing I overheat easily, otherwise I'm almost never drink water. Yeah, I'm a very warm person. That is why my streams on Sunday are only 2 hours, because this gets a little hot. You always have a bottle of water in your ear. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for drinking water. I mostly run on L-Vans and iced coffee. Iced coffee is a good one. That's the thing. Like, the one downside about being on medication is I drink way less coffee. And I like coffee. Sometimes I will skip my second dose so I can drink coffee. Because the one thing about caffeine, like coffee, it does affect the effect of medication. Shoot, got distracted. What happens with the lemon rocks? The lemon rocks are it's the story behind the Yellow Rock Brigade. When life was handing out lemons, but it gave us yellow rocks instead. And so we just kind of use our rocks how we can figure out how to use them so we can get our lemonade. It's just kind of like a metaphor that I came up with of how neurodivergents have to live in life. Can you drink coffee during down peaks of the meds? Yes. Usually within 1 hour of taking your medication, so before or after, you do not want to drink any coffee or orange juice. I buy new bottles from time to time because that becomes my new obsession. I just put stickers on mine to kind of like jazz up my water container. Any advice for when someone is overwhelmed from putting up a front all day, every day? I feel like I need to shut down. I don't want to do anything. It's too much. This is probably going to be hard. And I know it's not always going to be possible because masking at times is, in a sense, a survival mechanism. So I completely understand the need to mask, and there are times where I still mask, but I do it very, very rarely now because of that. I don't want to get overwhelmed by putting up a front. I don't want to overwhelm myself just to appease other people. And that's really hard because a lot of people are not going to like you as an autistic person. And that comes with some identity issues because the people around you, if all you're doing is masking and not being your authentic self and they like you, do they really like you? And that is a very sad question that we have to ask ourselves, and we shouldn't have to ask that. And so my suggestion is do your best to not mask. If you find yourself putting a exceptional amount of energy or thought behind an action, that is potentially something you are masking. So you are fighting against your innate reaction to something and overcoming that with a deemed appropriate behavior. And that is hard on us. If you are in that state where you are overwhelmed, because that's what you have to do right now, where you have to mask and you haven't gotten to the point where you can unmask, rest. Give yourself permission to rest. Don't shame yourself. Don't guilt yourself. You are doing something that a neurotypical doesn't have to do. They don't have to take into consideration every little thing that they do. They don't have to think about what they say. They don't have to think about how they behave. They don't have to think about, well, I shouldn't be stroking my beard in public because people are going to think I'm weird. Like, they don't have to think about that. We do. By the end of the day, if you're overwhelmed, if you're tired, if you're exhausted, give yourself that break. Because you've done a lot. It's really important. You like my dragon. Thank you. Unmasking is incredibly difficult, but hugely emotionally healing to be your true self. Exactly. I've been slowly unmasking and refuse not to go back. I struggle with the gaslighting from my mom, but I grow and because I'm a better version of myself. Yeah. Becoming a better version. Yeah. And I'm the same way. I've had people in my life tell me that I'm not the person that they grew up with or that they have known. Of course not. I'm not going to stay the same person. No one should stay the same person. If you are the same person as you were 5 years ago, then you are not paying attention to yourself. Does orange juice bugger the time release? Orange juice affects the absorption of ADHD medication. Now, I do not know entirely the process of why that is. I have seen some videos that I don't remember talking about this, and like there's some nuance there that I'm not 100% on, but from what I know, orange juice does affect our medication. The dissociation is hard to manage sometimes too. Am I the only one? Nah, I mean, dissociation is... This is the way I see dissociation, and this is not everyone's experience, and I know dissociation isn't always, but I know dissociation isn't voluntary. It's an involuntary thing. But it is a way for our minds to kind of protect ourselves. Like, that's kind of how I see it. I don't know if that's what it is, because that's one thing that I haven't really done a lot of research in. Take this with a grain of salt, or do some research, and if you find out, go to my Discord and tell me, because I would like to know. But I think potentially why ADHD people do like with maladaptive daydreaming, because maladaptive daydreaming is a form of dissociation. The brain does a lot of things to protect itself. And when we are understimulated, we can either go into an intrusive sleep state where we are so understimulated that our bodies just shut down and we go to sleep, or I think we just use maladaptive daydreaming as a way to stimulate our brain, but it becomes a dissociation because we are escaping the reality of the boredom and understimulated state. Read your bio. I've been medicated for 25 years. Tolerance has increased. Any advice? I can't really give you advice on medication, unfortunately. I wish I could. The only thing I can say is talk to your doctor. Maybe try a different medication, but that is something that is beyond my wheelhouse. Can I explain masking so I can help my son not mask so I don't teach me to mask? Yeah. Masking, as I said before, is the suppression of our natural behavior in place of like something that we deem more appropriate. So, like stimming, right? So a common stim for autistic people is the wings, the hand flaps, especially when excited. Someone who is masking would get excited, and they might have that urge to do that, but instead of doing this, maybe someone in their life shamed them for it or made fun of them for it, so they feel it's inappropriate. They would suppress that excitement. And maybe they would get excited and then drop down and force themselves not to do that. But that is expending more energy to stop yourself from doing that. And that is very exhausting. I have not dissociated for almost a year, but I have been in survival mode for a long time, which is kind of a dissociated state, but it's not really. Like, survival mode is completely different. But there's a lot of dissociation involved in that. It's aggravating when I'm trying to listen and do stuff, but my brain keeps shutting down. Yeah, it's because, and the thing is, like, we want to pay attention, but our brain's like, this is not interesting for us, so we're gonna shut down now. That's really hard. I was poking fun at how with ADHD I tend to read too fast and misread the situation. We're impulsive and excitable. I move and sway and tap and people tell me to stay still. Yeah. Move, sway, tap all you want. Don't listen to the people telling you to stay still, because they're the ones missing out on the fun of movement. Thank you for joining me on this episode of ADHDragon Sunday. I hope to see you there on Twitch every Sunday at 2 p.m. PST, or if not, until next time, here on YouTube. Be sure, like, subscribe, all that jazz, and if you feel so inclined, come join the Discord. We would love to have you there and be a part of the community.